What is going on, you guys? We are back with another seller recording. You need to pay attention because there is so many nuggets dropped in this call. It's a very long call, so I shrunk it to 16 minutes. I think it was about 27 minutes total. I took out the owner's information, the location, personal details that I didn't think were applicable. So with that being said, enjoy, comment down below with questions. Well, let's jump into the video right now. This is Carter with CB Home Solutions. Just calling about... Hey, I'm just calling about the house on. Am I reaching you at a halfway decent time?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. Can I ask who I'm speaking with?
I'm the owner of the house's daughter.
Okay.
The house will be placed in my name very soon.
Okay. Got it. Is it a state sort of situation, or I guess if you wanted to catch me up to speed on what's going on?
No, you see, when I moved back here with my ex-husband and my children, yeah, the year 2000.
Yep.
We moved here.
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't able to get the loan. My husband wasn't able to get the loan because I lived over there for 6 years.
Yep.
The property was my grandparents.
Okay.
And when my grandmother died, it went to my mother and my uncle.
Okay.
We purchased, we couldn't get a loan, so my mother purchased my uncle's half. And we've been paying off the mortgage.
Yep.
I went out of this place.
Well, fair enough. So when the owner specifically tells you that they are done, they are through with it, ding, 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 that is a motivated seller. So what you need to do is continue and further the conversation. However, as she had mentioned previously in the call, and I didn't pick up on this, she's not yet the owner. Her mother still is. So she can't do anything. If I came out today, could not sell it to me. She needs to be named the owner of the property, which doesn't happen for a little bit of time. That's kind of... Is it like, say you sell this place, are you planning on buying another house in there, or are you finding a place to rent, or what's kind of the plan?
I want to purchase property in northern Wisconsin.
Cool. That's what I'm...
I work from home, so I can work from anywhere. It doesn't matter the address.
Yeah.
And I have relatives that there's a problem with, and they live right next door.
Okay.
So I want out.
So when she mentions that there's relatives that she has a problem with, this is a huge pain point, because she knows there is a problem next door. That is a relative theirs, and I dive further into questioning. But listen, you guys need to actively listen. Ask questions on what you specifically hear the owner referring to. Yeah. Well, that's never the easiest scenario there. And then it's like, oh man, what do we do in that sense? But no, I'm headed up to, I don't know if you're familiar with where Wisconsin is. I'm headed up there on Thursday. We just bought a property up that way not too long ago, but northern Wisconsin's gorgeous. I guess especially in the summertime, like wintertime, the winters might be a little longer, but I do not blame you for wanting to get up that way by any means.
Well, the problem with my aunt, my uncle passed away, my mom's brother.
Yep.
Passed away last year, shortly after my father passed away.
Okay.
And we have, for over 100 years, there's been property up there.
Oh yeah, yep.
In our family. And it was supposed to be passed down generation to generation.
Yep.
Well, my uncle passed away, and it should have gone to his children, but instead it went to his widow. And she has decided she wants to sell.
Yeah.
And my mother can buy her out for $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Or have very little land for $150,000.
Oh my gosh.
Buy her
Yeah.
out. And can't really do that.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to live anywhere near them.
Yeah.
And they're right next door.
Okay, that's what I was assuming, but I just got it. Yeah, so it sounds like quite the... Well, obviously with family, it never makes it easy. But it sounds like your uncle's... Was it your aunt, or was he remarried at some point to the lady now, or...
No, they were married for like 60 years.
Okay. But she's just being a little bit difficult to work with from the sounds of it.
She's been difficult from the day I met her.
Well, that's saying that's saying something then. Yeah, it's one of those types of. I wanted her to correct me if I was wrong. So when I say it sounds like what I'm hearing, when I'm stating things or stating facts like that, what I want them to do is correct me. What this does and what I've learned is it makes the owner feel like you're actively listening, because I actually was. Like, I was listening to the conversation, and I don't want to make the wrong assumption. So what I instead do is like, well, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, it sounds like that's been a little bit of a situation for you for the last, whatever, little bit of time. Is that fair to say? And then they'll correct you ultimately if you're wrong, or they'll agree with you like she did. And then she's like, no, it's been a problem for 60 years. That's insane. Types of people from the sounds of it. Okay. Got it.
She's one of them.
Yeah, well, hey, we all know one of them. We all probably have one of those people in our family. And it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the case. And it's like no one's family is perfect. Mine as well, but it's like, oh my gosh. You don't like dealing with it. So I respect where you're coming from there. And so the plan is obviously sell the house, move to northern Wisconsin, get away from things. Is that something like ideally in the next couple months? Is it sooner than that? Is it later than that? Or what does that look like from your... So what I'm specifically doing here within the script that's up here in my mind is fact-checking timelines. Like in the beginning of the call, like I told you previously, I missed out on her saying that she's not yet the owner, she can't sell the property, or she'll soon be able to sell the property. But what I'm seeing is ideal timeframes for moving, making a decision, kind of moving forward with this. And instead of saying, well, how soon are you looking to have this done? What I say is, in a perfect situation or an ideal situation, like is this something that you're looking to have happen in the next couple weeks, couple months, like way down the road, like spring, summertime, maybe even fall, or sooner than that? And then just wait and see what they say. Your perspective.
The sooner the better, but if it doesn't happen right away, I can live with it.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Just from...
My mother just told me she would really not want to...
Yeah.
But this house she doesn't care about.
Okay.
So I have her permission to figure something out.
Yeah, yep. And that's what probably the quicker you guys get things in order, more or less, the easier it'll be in that sense. So I know where you're coming from. It's not necessarily a huge rush thing, but like you said, sooner the better in that case, which we can...
And the only problems inside the house...
Mm-hmm.
and there's a couple holes in the wall, but that can be patched very easily. I've done it before.
Yep.
But he decided before he left he was going to redo the bathroom.
Yep.
So the bathroom has to be redone. He did not do it.
Okay.
I tried, and I'm not handy.
Yeah.
But there is a toilet, the bathtub, the vanity, everything there. It's just, it needs to be redone.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's horse ate a little bit of the outside of the house.
It ate the outside of the house?
Ate the house, yeah.
So when she told me this on the phone, you have to remember and realize if the lady's daughter's horse ate some of the exterior of the house, there is a good chance that the interior is just as trashed. Like that's just the name of the game. They don't want to come out and specifically tell you that, but you have to start making some sort of assumptions, correlations between, okay, the bathroom sounds like it needs a full renovation. Is that the only thing? The bathroom is one of the most important parts of a house. So if the bathroom needs work, flooring probably needs work, paint, windows, roof, siding, all these different factors come into play, and their realistic price point that they might want, you have to get it within reason, I should say.
It's in poor condition.
Okay.
And it needs a couple of water pipes to be replaced.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's it, I think.
And how long have you lived there?
Too long. Before I was moved to, I lived here. And then I was over there for 6 years, and we came back and moved in the end of 2000.
Wow. So it's been Oh my gosh. Yeah, like you said, probably a little bit too long. Yeah, just probably, and then dealing with the family member next door. Probably, yeah, that hasn't probably made it any easier, but nonetheless. And I guess normally, like to kind of fill you in on like how our process works, and you might have done a lot of research, so you might already know this, but in order to get you the most accurate number, what we like to do is come out, set our eyes on it in person, so we can at least, I'm setting the phone call up for an appointment. So, because at this point we're like 7.5, 8 minutes into the call. So I'm getting ready to set it up for the appointment to schedule the in-person walkthrough, because that's what we do in our business. But you can see how I build this up. And then I ask in a very like nonchalant type of way, is this something that you're potentially interested in doing here in the near future? Or like, where are you at in this process? That's kind of the terminology that I like to use. It comes off as very, very low pressure. And if they want to move forward with a walkthrough, we're good to go. But if they don't, or there's some hesitancy, we try and overcome that and still schedule. But the last thing you want to do is schedule an appointment, have the seller cancel on you, schedule an appointment, cancel, and then you seem like this desperate buyer. You don't want that to happen. Provide you a legitimate sort of offer. And with that, we don't necessarily like to, I always say, we don't like to pigeonhole owners down one specific path. So when I come out, what I try and do is provide you multiple different scenarios or multiple different options that you can feel free to pick and choose any of them, or you can feel free to not pick any of them, and you're not going to hurt my feelings by any means. We just want to see if we can help you out, fantastic. We will definitely do that. But if we cannot, we can at least try and point you in the right direction so you can ultimately sell the place, get up to northern Wisconsin, quit dealing with the family member next door, and ultimately just be relieved of probably the headache and stress that can be involved with the process. So that's normally how our process works. But would you be interested in having us come out at some point here in the near future to look at the place, or what? Where are you at in that process?
I'm just starting.
Okay. And would you want to hold off for the time being on having us come out and look, or?
Maybe a little while. That way I can fix the place a little bit more.
Yeah. So right there, her saying she wants to fix the place a little bit more, it's not going to happen. Like that's an absolute lie. Probably still embarrassed about what it looks like or whatever the scenario that she's going through, but that is not the truth. So my goal is to uncover the truth by speaking to her, asking her deeper and more questions, and you can see I try and do that. Still didn't get an appointment scheduled by the end of this call, but I'm trying little by little to get it done. And do you truthfully want to fix it up at all? Because it doesn't matter to me what it looks like. Because when I tell you we've seen everything, we have seen absolutely everything at this point. We've bought well over 100 houses. So there's a lot of different scenarios that we've seen, and condition doesn't really matter to me. If there's stuff in there, like obviously it sounds like you're living there, that doesn't matter to me. It's something that I just see the potential of the property, and then I can at least talk you through the scenarios on what might be the best bet for you. And then you don't have to fix up anything. You don't have to worry about that if you truthfully don't want to. Because it is a headache. Like fixing up a property can be a very large inconvenience.
I've been trying to do it since my ex left.
Yep.
And with work, well, right now I've had a couple hand surgeries, so I've been off of work.
Yep.
So that's another reason why.
Okay, I don't know if you guys picked up on that. It was a very little hint, but she just gave me another nugget. She's been off of work. Bills might be piling up. I'm not saying for certain that they are. The more you're off of work, the less income you have coming in, the more, like, you still have bills no matter what, no matter if you have everything paid off or whatever the case is, because you still have to eat, you have groceries, you have other expenses. But this is something that, if it's not taken care of in the near future, or the somewhat near future, it could get out of control. Yep.
I want to get out of here. But I would say hold off for right now.
Okay.
Because I'm going into the hospital tomorrow for another surgery.
See, and who knows if that's the truth or not. Like, I don't, honestly, I don't know. I didn't want to confront her on that because that's the last thing you want to do is confront an owner. You just agree. You agree and you move on, you push past it, you ask other questions, you ask better questions, and then hopefully you'll get to the truth eventually. Okay.
Maybe a couple months. I was just wondering, how the process, I don't know how the process works. That's the problem.
Yeah. And you think a couple months will give you enough time to kind of figure things out, or you don't foresee wanting to do anything sooner than that?
Possibly sooner. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fair enough. So then what I'll do, because I'm assuming this is your cell phone. Is that fair to say?
It is. Yes.
Okay. What I'm doing here, I'm making sure I have her cell phone so I can text her. Because that's important. If you guys aren't asking for cell phones, you're talking to these leads, it might be a home phone that you're calling them on. You need a cell phone for follow-up reasons, but cell phones are essential for proper follow-up, using more creative follow-up methods. Perfect. And I'm calling you on my cell phone. And again, my name's Carter. But what I'll do is I'll plan on staying in touch over the next up and coming couple of weeks, couple of months. And whenever you're at the point and you're like, okay, Carter, I'm ready to have you come out. Like I'm ready. I'm done dealing with the neighbor next door. I'm done dealing with the house. I'm not making any repairs. I'm not doing anything like that. I can come out same day. We can provide you an idea on different numbers, different scenarios. And then you can either tell me, perfect, one of those sounds like it's going to be the perfect fit. Or, on the other hand, you can be like, no, Carter, I don't think this is the right route for me to go at this time.
What type of scenario?
Yeah, this is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for her to ask me this specific question because I can dive in and differentiate ourselves from the other investors. And this is where we absolutely kill it in closing scenarios. I touch on it briefly here in the video. If you guys need further information or you want to learn this further, join my Thursday night calls, bookcarter.com, where I discuss it in full detail. Yeah, great question. So it's what we try and do, like the different scenarios is different sort of offer options. So we typically provide up to 4 different numbers for each owner. And now the breakdown of that, and I'll keep it high level just to not be confusing while we're on the phone. But the first number we give you, which tends to be the lowest out of the 4 options, is a straight up cash offer, where we take care of all the repairs, all the maintenance, any items that you do not want, that you are going to leave behind, we take care of that. There's no additional fees or expenses to you. That's option number 1. The second option, which tends to be our most popular, is, I like to call it our partner option. The only difference, so with this second option, they are literally giving us permission to wholesale their property. That is what they are agreeing to with option number 2. And as you can tell, it's our most popular option. Between number 1 and number 2, the cash option and the partner option, is we just need reasonable access to the house to probably come in maybe 1, 2, 3 more times with either partners of ours or contractors of ours, depending upon the scenario. But it will be at a higher price point for that inconvenience factor.
Okay.
The third option, and this is probably, I would say it tends to be at a decent amount higher than even number 1 and number 2, is what I like to call it's like a more creative route. But if you've ever bought a car or even like buying the house, generally speaking, it's a down payment plus monthly payments. We do that same thing when it comes to purchasing houses, if the owner is open to it. Now, if you're not, if that wouldn't be the case, so be it. That's totally fine. But that would be another option. Then the third option, we can give you a rough idea on if you were to clean it up and take care of a few things, what you could potentially list the property for with a realtor. And we could make the connection there if you needed, or connect you with contractors or junk removal companies or what have you. But we can provide you all that information. And then it's like, well, shoot, Carter didn't point me down just one specific path. And that's my biggest fear of when I go and meet with someone, is they're like, oh shit, this guy seems like he's taking advantage of me because he only gave me one option. Here's, I'm teeing it up. If she calls other investors, 99% of the time, they give her one option. They might try and throw a creative finance at her, but they won't explain it properly. They'll get confused, so on and so forth. They pigeonhole, as I referred to in this video, the owner down one specific path, one specific option. Doesn't work out well. People like their options. They like picking and choosing which might work best for them. And this allows you to exponentially increase your closing percentages. And it's either a yes or no. And that's the last thing that I want to do. Because I know how, like, selling a house is not easy, especially when you're having to deal with a few other things, with moving, with cleaning some stuff out, whatever the case is. It can be a very inconvenient process, so we try and simplify that if possible.
Okay, because I know if I sell this place,
yep.
I won't leave anything behind.
Okay.
I don't have much of anything, so there's not much to leave behind.
Yeah.
And personally, I'd rather clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Before, and that just means several trips to the dump. Because they won't give me a roll-on, roll-off bin because they said it would probably sink, and because we don't have a blacktop driveway.
Interesting. Okay.
But that was what I wanted to do a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
To get one of those and just toss everything.
Yeah. And that's what we generally like. Say we bought a place, or say we end up working something out with you. What it would look like for us, what I always tell owners is, when I walk through a house, I make the assumption that any items, like I know you had mentioned that you'll take pretty much everything, but say there was like I'm sitting in my home office right now. I have some photos in here. I have some stuff in the closet that truthfully I have absolutely no use for. It's just sitting here. That if I didn't have to take it with me or find a way to dispose of it, I would prefer to leave it behind if I ever sold my house. Yeah. Now, when we come into properties, we always have to get dumpsters at properties because of the remodel that we're doing. So it's really not inconvenient for us to have to basically throw anything out or dispose of anything if it's left behind. So that's where I don't want that to be an inconvenience for the owner if it's not something that's top of mind or something. Guys, after watching that call, what are some things that you took away? What are some things that you're going to implement now in your script? Drop it in the comments down below. I hope you got value. If you need any help, if you want to learn more about wholesaling real estate, go to makemoneywithcarter.com, 100% free wholesaling real estate course. Again, that's makemoneywithcarter.com. Peace. Hit the subscribe button. I hope you liked it. I'll see you in the next video.